What's going on, y'all? Machiavelli Mills TV. So look, y'all. Recently I had an individual telling me like, "Hey, man, you in Chicago? I think you should reach out to some of that talent that's rapping in Chicago. I think you should reach out to a lot of them young dudes, that's out here rapping and trying to do their thing. Interview them to kind of like, it'll definitely help you to be the first one on some of their songs, or first one kind of highlighting them before they get to the big mainstream platforms like Vlad TV or Say Cheese or, DJ U, so on and so forth, right? And I'm gonna say this, man. Like I'm a big fan of the music that's coming from a lot of the younger generation out of the city of Chicago. I listen to a lot of their music, so on and so forth, man. But you got to be very careful when you interviewing street dudes. You really do. Now, that's the difference with me interviewing young dudes. Stuff can go wrong with any type of person. But interviewing a young person that's level-headed, that's mature, that makes sound decisions, that doesn't act off impulse, that's one thing. But a lot of these street dudes in Chicago, they're quick-tempered. They're real finicky, right? They contradict themselves a lot. They might like one thing on one end, but then when you do it again and you're doing it with somebody else that they don't like, they start getting mad and start getting pissed off, telling you to take their videos down. People start getting threats. I didn't seen it, right? I've seen it, with a lot of Chicago interviewers throughout my time, right? Whether it be like some of the most premier individuals you can ever think of to some guys who are just still trying to get buzz. And I've seen them all have problems, with a lot of these street dudes that they're interviewing, which is why my channel will never be based around street content. This is an all-around channel, right? And again, most of the people, if you're gonna see me interview people from the street for real, most of the time I have relationships with these people, like they're my family, they are blood relatives, or they're like, like whether it's cousin, uncle, or whatever, or it's like somebody that I got a real rapport with. A lot of times, man, a lot of the Chicago interviewers make, where they go wrong is they interview these dudes and then they start asking them about street stuff, right? Asking them about street stuff, beefs, or certain things they said on social media, certain stuff they said on Instagram, on Twitter, certain stuff they said in songs, certain lines that they may have put out, or whatever clothes or whatever disrespectful sign they was doing, so on and so forth. And once you open that bag, I promise you that bag gets deep. And it can get hectic for real. You know what I mean? And see, that's the problem when people just interviewing dudes who don't make music and you trying to get them these long, elaborate interviews. A lot of these dudes don't got nothing to talk about outside of beef, right? And so the interviewer feels like, hey, I got to ask him about this or my interview going to be trash. So they start to dive into the street stuff. And they start talking about other people. And again, you can't, sometimes even when you interviewing street dudes, you don't even gotta ask them certain questions, right? Some dudes, you can't control them. They erratic. They gonna just say whatever. They on high alert. They are super hyper aggressive. A lot of them, not all of them, because I know some street dudes who are real cool, calm, and collected. I know some street dudes who just chill for the most part and see you go crazy with them. And then I've known some street dudes who just wild all the way around. Just obnoxious, just unruly as hell. They just wild ass little dudes who ready to just pop off at any moment. And so when you got dudes like that, you can be asking them about the weather. And they just go right into dissing this person, dissing they ops over here. They ops over east, they ops, out west, they ops in the hundreds, they ops on the low end. They just go crazy with it. And see, I don't have that type of time. I don't have that, I'm not for that on this channel. Okay, we can talk about a person's life story, certain obstacles and challenges they went through. They can talk about certain situations. All that dissing certain people and name dropping this person, that one, I can't have that on my channel. Because I'm in Chicago. Okay, I'm not interviewing, and there's no disrespect to anybody who's not in Chicago that's interviewing Chicago rappers. I'm just telling you my perspective. I'm still in Chicago every single day. I'm moving around outside with my kids and my family. You know what I'm saying? Sometimes I might be by myself going to go handle some business somewhere, or I might just be going by myself going to go meet up with my boy or something. You feel me? Going to go kick it with one of the guys, going to go, just being out. I might be with my mom or something. I don't need no stag in the street. It is already as crazy. People crazy as it is. So, a lot of these young shorties, they just be whatever. They irrational anyway. So without even interviewing, you might run into some ignorant little shorty, right? But when you interviewing people and you asking them certain street questions, stuff can get dicey. You know, and yeah, I don't got time for the nonsense. Right? So yeah, I can interview people, but again, you got to be very careful with it because everybody, again, a lot of these street dudes, a lot of them, they real sensitive about certain stuff being said. They don't want you interviewing this person. You can interview them and the person may not even diss them at all. But they might just be mad you went to go interview somebody that they into it with. So now they get mad. They want you to take their interviews down and they disrespecting you. They telling everybody else not to come on your platform because you got ops on your channel. Like what? You know what I mean? People blog and they want to hear different perspectives. So that's why I can't even get into the shit. You know, because stuff started getting crazy. It just started getting wild. And I seen something recently, right? Well, a Chicago interviewer got into it with a street legend in Chicago, a dude that got a street name, a well-known and reputable street image or reputation, rather, right? He got a great street reputation, and they had a back and forth, a disagreement about some stuff that went on in the video, or interviewing the wrong person, and it could get out of hand, man. Because a lot of times, man, men when they get upset, and I know in general though, when men get upset, especially street dudes, they start being disrespectful, being overly aggressive, and even if you're not a street dude as a man, you're gonna provide pushback. Right? You ain't gonna let somebody walk over. So a lot of people ain't gonna let nobody walk over them, talk to them any type of way. Now tempers are flaring, and now turn into some shit they ain't gotta be. And so that becomes a problem. So yeah, man, a lot of Chicago interviewers go wrong when they start asking about all these street issues and street beefs, and they start asking questions about who they into it with and what did you mean when you said this and what you mean when you said that in your song, or when you said that on Instagram, when you posted this picture on Instagram, when you dropped that sign, who you doing, who you talking about when you dropping that set, who you talking about? Yeah, bro. We ain't got no time for that. I can't be dealing in that. Like I said, I'm a family man. I go, go to work, do my thing. You feel me? I be outside with my kids. I mind my business. So I ain't got time for the hustle and bustle. I ain't got time for the, to be tussling with any of these dudes outside. And a lot of these dudes ain't trying to tussle. They're trying to shoot. So, yeah, man, a lot of dudes go wrong when they start asking about the street stuff. Or even interviewing dudes who they know are extremely immature and just erratic. Just because they feel like it's going to get views. Now, again, I ask, a lot of times these views not worth your life? You know what I'm saying? A lot of these dudes are erratic, and they know they're erratic, and they want them on there because they know they're going to say some outlandish stuff and it's going to get views. But then they start disrespecting the wrong people. They start saying all type of crazy stuff. You posting it. A lot of street dudes are not rational enough to be like, oh man, he just an interviewer. He didn't mean anything by that. He don't feel the same way the dude that's, the interviewee. He don't feel the same way the interviewee feel. They gonna say, oh, okay, you asking him these questions? You know what I'm saying? You posting it? I heard you might have laughed at a little joke he threw. Oh, you in this now, huh? You in this. Okay. All right, it's up then. Then what? Now you in some bullshit you could have even avoided. You could have avoided. You could have evaded the whole thing. But, again, the clicks and views is going to drive it in, so you're going to ask some questions, and it might put your life in jeopardy just having that one person on your channel. Like, even if I had contact and access with a lot of Chicago dudes, there's certain individuals I probably would never have on my channel because I know what they're going to be talking like and what they're going to be saying during interviews. I know it. Because you just know their personalities. You know what I'm saying? So, and I went to school with a few dudes who rap throughout the city. One dude in particular, they got a name, right? And I don't got access to him. He see me, we'll say what up to each other, whatever. But hey, you just never know what could be said during some of these interviews, or stuff could go left. You know what I mean? And again, the dude that I'm talking about, I went to school with, I don't think he would ever do that on my stuff. You know what I'm saying? Because he know I'm out the way. I ain't even on that. And again, we wasn't best friends. We wasn't super cool. We just know each other when we see each other. What's up, man? You feel me? It was what it was. It was what it was because we was in high school with each other at the same time. But yeah, man. I don't think he would put me in that type of situation. But again, sometimes when you get your success, hey, you might start, hey, I'm gonna get this interview, I'm gonna go interview this one. You gotta be real smart about what you're doing. You gotta be real smart about what you're doing, and you gotta really figure out, you gotta know who you're talking to and know what, the type of personality they have, and you gotta have the responsibility sometimes to cut certain stuff out of interviews. Cause some people are gonna keep it in there for the views, but some of that stuff is not worth the static that come with it. I seen it in Chicago, man. And the dude I went to school with Mimo 600, right? Went to school with Mimo, right? And I ain't got no, Mimo cool. You know what I'm saying? He cool people. And I don't think he would ever. I'm not in contact with him at all. So I'm not going to even act like I'm in contact with him. But if he see me, he know I went to Morgan Park. He know that for a fact. But I don't think he would ever do that. You know what I'm saying? I don't think he would. But there's some other dudes in Chicago that would get on the channel just to be on that, just to talk crazy, whatever. Or they might get mad at me for interviewing this person over there, interviewing that person, and now you stuck to interviewing a certain side of people because you don't want no static. Or sometimes you might just say, fuck it, I don't care. And then either you gotta take the interviews down, dude threatening you, talking crazy. Now you into some other street shit that you don't even got to be a part of. So yeah, man, gotta be very careful when you playing that game. But you will see some interviews, some individuals coming very, very soon. But it's gonna be from my family, my people that I got a rapport with, that I got a lot of love for. You know what I'm saying? People that I love on my channel, they can give you a street perspective of a lot of situations that it went down in Chicago, Illinois. But a lot of Chicago interviews go wrong when they start questioning beef and questioning who into it with each other. Machiavelli Mills TV, I'm out. Peace.